So this is Frost mode, and as you may know, at the end of Frost mode there is a 13.39% chance of getting the Showtime Crate from the Triumph rewards. Now that is if I were to beat Frost mode. It's obviously not guaranteed. I might lose to Frost Spirit, you never know. Alright, so I've just defeated the Frost Spirit, and I do wonder what reward I'm going to get at the end of Frost mode. And it is, 3 Ducky Squad consumables. Actually, I think that's better for me than Showtime Crates because I have all of the Showtime Crates. However, with that being said, I did get a Showtime Crate from somewhere. Anyways, with that being said, a lot of people are saying that the chance of getting the Showtime Crates in Frost mode is definitely not 13.39%. The reason why they say that is because they're not getting those crates at those odds. The reason why I know this is because if I would go down to the comment section of the Showtime Crates, you get a lot of people complaining about this crate. This person here saying that they played 25 matches of Frost mode and got nothing. This person claiming that they're getting 20 games per crate. This person also claiming that they spent 50 to get a single crate. This person getting a Molten Monster, apparently before they get the Showtime Crate in Frost mode, and a lot of people complaining about 0% crates in this game mode. Now, from my free Showtime Crate video, or well, when I said that the Triumph rewards for Frost mode hadn't changed for the Showtime Crate, many people were complaining about the fact that those odds don't seem like it's a correct assumption. This person saying that they grinded 10,000 to 11,000 gems worth of Frost mode and only got 4 crates. That is about 133 games, and this person's claiming that they're only claiming 4 crates. So that's a crate every 33 games or so. This person claiming that of the 73 games that they played, they only gotten 2 crates. This person saying over 50 Frost games and only 1 Showtime Crate. This person claiming nearly 100 games and only 1 crate. This person claiming 240 Frost modes and they hadn't gotten a single crate until today. This person saying 100 Frost mode games, 3 crates, 146, 4 Showtime, 2 Xmas when the Xmas crate was in the game, so around a 24 game triggering run. So how rare are these odds? So let's claim this person here, 100 Frost modes and 3 crates. So the number of trials is 100 and the number of successes is 3. If we calculate from here, the chances that this person gets 3 or less crates is actually interestingly 0.00042, which is a 0.042% chance. This person very evidently should be getting more than 3 crates if they played over 100 Frost modes and triumphed every single one. Even if they only got 10 crates, the chances of that happening, 10 or less crates, is actually only 0.12, aka a 12% chance. And the chances of this actually occurring is really low, and it's especially low for every single person complaining about this event. Now, to balance everyone's complaining about the odds for the Showtime crates in Tower Defense Simulator, I have found someone say that they did get all of their crates from the Frost mode. They bought 2 apparently, but they got 10 of the crates from Frost mode by random chance. So, what is going on with the Showtime Crate odds in Frost mode? Well, there could be a simple explanation in that there is a glitch in Tower Defense Simulator where even if you were to triumph a game in Tower Defense Simulator, you don't get any triumph rewards. This sometimes happens, in my experience 1 in every 10 games, but certainly, if the chances of getting the Showtime Crate in Tower Defense Simulator is 13.39%, that still obviously should be higher than the 1 in 20, 1 in 50 crates that people are getting in Frost mode. There is one other alternative, and it's the fact that there is a chance that the odds are messed up in Tower Defense Simulator. People are claiming that the 3% odds that used to be in Tower Defense Simulator before the developers supposedly upped it to 13.39% is in the game. And as you can see, with those 3% odds and inputting someone's random games and then their number of successes, the chance that they actually got this was a 12% chance, but the chance that they got 6 or less crates was actually 84.9%. Now 3% is not a random odds that I've plucked out of the air. These were the former odds of getting the Showtime Crate and the Xmas Crate, so either or, from Frost mode before the developers decided to boost it around a day or so after the Final Act event was added to Tower Defense Simulator upon the complaining of the community to the developers about how low the odds of getting a Showtime or Xmas Crate was. Now, it should be stated that because the Xmas Crates are no longer available in Tower Defense Simulator, the odds now encompasses solely a Showtime Crate. The previous odds of 3%, but then later 13.39%, included the odds of both the Showtime Crate and the Christmas Crate. Basically, the rarity included one of the options of getting either of the crates, and then it was split in half because it was random 50-50 of getting a Showtime Crate or a Christmas 2025 crate. And looking at the odds of people complaining, like 1 in 20, even up to 1 in 50, these do actually scream a 3% odds rather than anything else, rather than the 13.39% that's actually being promised. Now, I will say that the developers originally claimed a 15% chance of getting it in Frost mode. Now, the reason why it's only 13.39% is because the developers messed up the weightings when it comes to all of the odds in Tower Defense Simulator's Frost mode. So I think it is still, within the game at least, a 15 chance of getting the Showtime Crates because it's an epic rarity and it's showing a 15 odds. However, for whatever reason, the amount of odds here actually add up to 112% or something similar to that. So the 15 is being divided by a number greater than 100, meaning that's how we get the 13.39% chance of getting the Showtime Crate. So even though within the game's code it's showing as a 15-point odds, I think there might be an issue within Tower Defense Simulator's code, which none of us have actually, well, I mean, we don't have access to the code. We can't actually verify if it is a 100% accurate 15-point odd. I mean, after all, sometimes the game glitches and doesn't give you a reward item. But looking at everyone's complaints, it is looking like it's closer to 3% than 13.39%. Again, we have no evidence that it is a 3% odds of getting the Showtime Crate. We can only speculate, given the fact that everyone's complaining about the fact that in 100 attempts, they're only getting 3 crates. That's what you would expect from a 3% odds. However, I would like to preface this by saying it's obviously going to be the people who aren't getting the crates that are going to be complaining about the crates the most. If everything works as expectation, do you really think that they are going to be saying, oh, I actually got the crate every 10 games or so, or every 7 to 8 games, as is expected from this Frost mode? And then, of course, many people are saying that the Frost mode should get a guaranteed Showtime Crate every 7 to 8 matches to line up with the 15% odds that the developers have promised, much like how there is a pity system for the logbooks. After 60 kills of that enemy, you get the logbook. Again, though, you are overriding the odds of what you get in Frost mode, so that would be unfair for those who would originally get, say, the Nuke, Multi-Monster, or Holy Hand Grenade consumables. I know not everyone would necessarily want those rewards, but the odds of actually getting these rewards is only 1.79%, and getting it overridden with a Showtime Crate, even though many people may not want the Showtime Crate. I've certainly seen people complain about the fact that they are getting Showtime Crates still in Frost mode, despite them having all of the Showtime skins. It would be a little unfair. Maybe there could be a toggle or something for this pity system if you want to subscribe to it or want to partake in the grinding of Frost mode. But I do have to say that this is very unlikely given the fact that Showtime Crate isn't even meant to be in Frost mode anymore. After all, the final act was meant to end on the 2nd of March 2026. I believe it ended a lot after that, so like on the 20th of March, and even then Showtime Crates will remain in the game until the final act is removed. Not the case, the final act is removed, but the Showtime Crate, you can still get the Showtime Crate, which is really weird. So while there is evidence that people aren't getting the Showtime Crates at the 13.39% stated odds, I really doubt this late in the grinding system, the developers are going to fix it. I do think it is a 3% odds, even though there is no evidence internally to back this up, but it's only people's accounts that make me believe that is a 3% odds.